Good afternoon, everyone, and happy spring. Boy, it is spring out, March 20th. We are here. It is here. We are here and living in the moment, loving it. So welcome to the first spring edition of Topic Time with Harrison Young. I'm feeling it so good, and I got a great guest tonight, another one. We just keep getting more and more, but before we get to him, we got to read the underwriters, and then we'll do the show. So we got Grand Slam Vape in Bridgewater. We got Dave's Automotive in Hanson. We got Angels Auto Parts in Plimpton, where they pay top dollars for used cars. We got Jim's Barbershop in Pembroke. And we got MDI Auto Brokers and Repair in Whitman, home of the fully certified used car. And I want to thank you guys very much. And now to introduce the guest. And this gentleman here, this is Brandon Scales. He's a local actor. He's migrated from a different part of the country to be here. And we're going to find out all about that. We're going to find out about him a little bit. We're going to look at some of his footage about halfway through the show. And, of course, we're going to have a great interview, as we always do. So, Brandon Scales, thank you for coming in here and being on my show, Topic Time, tonight.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Okay. And I got to thank my sister-in-law, Joanne Young, for kind of hooking us up the other day. It was really, last week, to suggest to me nice. that I contact you. Because it's, you know, I mean, she's not only is she a great member of the family, she's been a guest on the show too. I've been a guest on her show that she had when she had it, and so kudos to her as well.
Thank you.
But this is your show now, so let's talk about you. So you're an actor,
yes.
And
yes.
Let's find out about that. How did you get started? And let's go back to your childhood and figure that out, because a lot of people that are adults started as children, and I figured in your case it's probably this. You said something about wanting to do drama when you were a kid, living in Texas. Your grandfather wouldn't let you.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. Let's be elaborate, and we'll figure that out. And talk about it.
I grew up in kind of all over the country, but cool. I lived in I was born in Arkansas. And then I ended up moving to Illinois at a young age, and I lived there and up until I was about 8, and then I moved to Texas. And
talk about jackknifing, man.
Yeah, just moving around, right?
Exactly.
Moving around. So I moved to Texas, and it was there that in a 4th grade play.
Just curious, what part of Texas?
Killeen, Texas.
Where?
Killeen, Texes.
Killeen, okay. Is that near Dallas, near San Antonio, near Houston?
It's closer to Waco, I would say. Fort Hood.
I don't even know the geography. I know it's a large state. I flew over it once, and I couldn't believe how big it was.
They call Killeen the heart of Texas.
Oh, the heart of Texas?
The heart of Texas.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're living in the heart.
Living right in the heart of
Texas. You were the
Texas.
arrow in the heart.
That's right.
All right. I see.
Oh,
I know
man,
so
I like that.
Thank you.
All right,
so
it was there in a 4th grade play. It was my first, time on stage, and I did the play. And
what was the play?
It was a Christmas play.
Okay.
I played one of the camels for the 3 wise men.
Oh boy!
So I was one of the camels.
You got to hump it.
I had to hump it, man. It was as I can think. I think the play might have been on a Wednesday.
Okay.
No, so we ended up doing the play. It was great. Got a nice applause, and I loved doing it. And from there, when I got to junior high, all right. Now, had you moved from Texas? Now you lived in Brockton. Did you go to West?
You said you went to West.
Yeah.
Were you already at West by this time? Had you already moved to Brockton?
So when I started junior high, I was still living in Texas.
You were, okay.
So I was living in Carpus Cove, Texas, and I was in the 7th grade. Excuse me. In Texas, I'm sorry, I said 7th grade. It was actually a Manor Middle School in Killeen, Texas, because we started middle school in the 6th grade.
Yeah,
so it was in the 6th grade.
Today too.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was in the 6th grade when I ended up joining the drama club.
Okay.
And I was in a play, and the play was it was about slavery, and it took place in the 1800s.
Yep.
And I played, out of all people, I played Frederick Douglass. I was 12 years old.
He was a famous slave.
He was a famous slave who had become free and turned into an abolitionist, and he was well known in his day.
Oh, I know.
And I ended up doing a speech.
Was he in the Civil War too?
He was around during that time. I don't know if he fought in the war. I'm not exactly sure of that, but I know that
I'm not either, but I wasn't,
He was around during that time.
Yeah, I knew that was his era.
I did the play, and the name of the speech that I gave was called "What's the 4th of July to the Negro?"
Okay.
And
Wow.
I did the speech, and I was 12 years old. I got a standing ovation, and I think it was from there when I really developed this love, this passion that I had
For acting.
for acting.
Okay.
It was my way of escaping, and it was my way of, you know, going into another world,
Right.
escaping my own reality. You know, I didn't grow up in the best of places. I mean, I grew up in poverty.
Yeah.
I grew up in the 80s and in the 90s, and you know, it was tough times where I lived. So movies became my escape. Television became my escape.
You mean watching them?
Watching them,
Okay.
you know, and I would always, as a kid, I would, you know, make believe, and I would always make believe I was somewhere else, and I was like in a different place, and in that place I was free, and I could be who I wanted to be, and I didn't have to be scared of anything or
Right.
afraid of anything, and it was there that, you know, I found myself in a comfort zone
course.
with acting. And so when I had done the plays as a kid, I had already developed that comfort.
I got a
All I
question.
needed was,
I got another question though about the play. When you played Frederick Douglass, did you feel like kind of like, I mean, let's face it, it's racism raised to the, you know, to the top level, and did
Oh,
it
yeah.
bother you at all? I'm just any
Well,
of that. Did that sink in at
you
all
know,
or not, or did you just say the
it's-
hell with it? I'm going to do it anyway.
yeah, you know, it's funny that you say that. There was this one instance in a play where one of the kids, there's a couple of kids, you know,
Yep.
they were playing white slave owners,
Yep.
and they were having a conversation amongst themselves, and they had actually, the N-word was in the
Yeah,
script.
yeah.
And
That's why I asked, because I figured it might have been
they
a little tough
used
for
it.
you. Yeah.
They used it, and
Well, they were supposed to, as awful as it is. I know.
it
yeah.
was in the play, but it was there that I really learned, you know, that, you know, this is make believe what we're doing.
Well,
And
yeah, but it's
now,
based on a true story.
it's based on a true story, but it's make believe because we aren't these people.
Okay.
We haven't walked in their shoes, and we haven't actually lived their life and actually had to, you know, get the scars that they have in order
Right.
for them to have those characteristics
But
about
what
themselves.
prompted me to ask the question was, you mentioned about, you know, growing up in having humble beginnings.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of thinking, to some degree, they're connected. Being, you know, maybe
Yeah.
that's, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean,
Definitely,
you would know
definitely.
more than I would, but I would think, just based on what I've read and the people that I've known, that's kind of, there is sort of a connection between that and people that maybe not do as well. But all right, let's look at this. Now, I want you to tell me if it's true or not that somehow you turned the negative into a positive with this at this
Yeah.
point. Obviously, you have.
Yeah.
Obviously, you needed to escape, so you watched a lot of television and a lot of movies. But then you decided to take the bull by the horns and become an actor.
Yeah.
And all right, how old were you? I mean, this was after you did the play at junior
Yeah.
high. So this was in your adult life, or still a kid, or what?
Well, so it was mostly my adult life.
Okay.
You know, I had gone to high school for something completely different, and you know, I was finding myself.
Yep.
But I had still went ahead and gone to acting school when I was
Where'd you go?
22. I went to John Casablancas.
Oh,
and,
cool.
And it was, you know,
Boston,
back in
right?
yeah, this was back in 2001.
Okay.
So it was a while ago, but you know, I learned some good techniques, some things about script, and you know, things about my resume and headshots. And so after a stint of just finding myself, I had done music for a while.
How so? And playing, singing, dancing?
Hip hop
Cool.
music. Yeah,
You write your own stuff?
Write my own stuff.
Cool.
Did, you know, performed on stage. It was great, but I mean, it just wasn't sustainable for me.
Okay.
So I had to work these odd jobs, and it was after I left working at a job that I had in Brockton at a bank. I had found this post online about extras in this movie, Ted 2.
Which
and-
movie was it?
Ted 2
Ted 2.
with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, I know
So-
the man, of the man.
Yeah, so I applied, put my stuff out there, and this was through Boston Casting, and they sent me an email saying, hey, I can show up, and I showed up, and I worked on that for 5 days, and it was there when I was sitting, I was watching Mark do his work, And I just said to myself, like, wow, man, you know, he's actually doing what he loves. And, you know, there can't be any more of an amazing feeling than that.
Of course.
And so it was there when I said,
You
you
get
know
paid
what?
for it too.
Exactly.
Right.
I said, you know what? Let me give this a try. You know, because I'm a risk taker.
Okay.
So I said, well, you know,
Got
let me give this a try. And so I had done some other indie film things, and I met a lot of great actors in the area. You know, they've all helped mold me into who I am.
Right.
A lot of our mutual friends and stuff like that. So after you know, a couple of years, maybe a year and a half, this movie Patriots Day was casting,
Right.
and Boston Casting was looking for extras in Patriots Day, and
Well, before we get to Patriots Day,
Yeah.
I want you to talk about some of the indie projects you've done too.
Sure.
Because it sounds to me like the big films was Ted 2 with Affleck, and also Patriots Day that you were in. Were you in any others as well?
oh yeah.
Okay, so let's kind of go over a bunch of your projects, and then we're going to look at a little clip about halfway through the show.
Okay.
And then so just see what you can remember in the chronological order, and let's take it from
So
there.
after Ted 2, I remember doing a movie. Man, I can't remember.
That's okay. If you can't remember, that's
I did
fine.
it with Jose Gonzalez. Shout out to Jose
Oh,
Gonzalez.
Jose, I interviewed him too.
He's
too.
incredible.
And he got a speaking role in Daddy's Home too.
He's
Speaking of him, too.
he's remarkable.
He's going
He's
somewhere.
remarkable.
He's a good guy.
But I had met him on that movie.
Killing Khan, maybe?
No, it wasn't that one. Jose, you'll remember what it was. I forget, but poor Jose. I mean, he really, you know, put in the work for this role, and you know, he had to gain weight and stuff like that, and the movie never came out.
Gain weight. He's a big guy as it is.
Well, he had to put on more weight because
Wow.
the character that he was playing was a CO, and he was a big dude.
Right,
and so,
right.
you know, Jose is dedicated and he's professional,
course.
and you know, he wants to give the best product possible, and so he went ahead and, you know, put on the weight, but the movie never came out. So I worked on that one, and then I had done some other background roles. I had worked on Polka King.
Oh, I was too.
Oh, you was on
I
Polka
was there,
King?
yeah.
So I
August
worked.
17th, 2016, I was there.
Yeah, I forget the exact date that I was on that one, but I
In
worked,
Rhode Island, right? At the
Yeah,
Capitol?
in
You
Rhode
may have been
Island.
there the same day.
Yeah, probably. I worked on Live by Night.
Okay.
I worked on Detroit. Detroit, just, I mean,
Yeah, I heard, yeah, they shot that in Brockton, didn't they?
They did.
That was about the 1967 riots. The
yes,
race.
yes, that
Wow.
was incredible. These are all my extra roles, and I just want everyone to know, you know, I know, you know, we all get to a point in our career where we're like, you know, we kind of look down on doing the extra stuff, and
Right.
people, you know, if you haven't gotten your break, you know, you feel like, well, I'm doing a lot of extra work, and extra work is nothing. I've seen people put those posts on Facebook that extra work is nothing and background work does nothing for your career. But number one, it's how you get an entry into the business.
Okay.
It's how, as an actor, it's how you learn the technical things that you need to know. So everyone, do the extra work. It's how you're going to get started, especially people trying to get started.
Okay, and on that note, we're going to take a little break and look at a little clip because we're about halfway through the show. So check us out. We're going to be right back.
We're recreating the scene. Put every item down exactly where it was found. We need this spread out here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Lay some paper down, let the stuff air dry. I don't want to degrade the DNA.
Carol, pick up the phone. Carol, can you hear me?
Get this paper over here. If you come across any clothing that's burnt or charred, separate that. I need to have somebody collect these cell phones here, get them down the cart. Okay.
Well, that was awesome, Brandon. I'll talk about that a little.
Okay, so that was Patriots Day.
Okay.
So let's talk about Patriots Day. So I had showed up on that movie to be an extra. Boston Casting had done a roll call for, well, it was an open call for background extras to portray law enforcement. And I was lucky enough to get chosen to be one of the FBI agents. So it was there on set that they had, on my first day, they had needed an upgrade. They needed somebody to be a stand-in. One of the stand-ins didn't show up. So they came, they found me, they asked me if I wanted to do it. I said, of course. It was me and another young lady, and they took us both, and it was behind the scenes where I met Peter Berg.
It was what?
Peter Berg.
Peter Berg?
Peter Berg, yeah.
Was that the actor that you were? Who was that?
So Peter Berg, he was the director of Patriots
Oh,
Day.
okay. I did not know that. Okay.
So, and honestly, when I first seen him, I thought that he was an actor. So Peter Berg, he came walking out of the room, and I was just like blown away. And I had seen a movie of his when I was a child. It was called Aspen Extreme, but I couldn't think of it at the time, and he reminded me. And so we shook hands, and then I got to talk to him and stuff like that throughout the day. And then when I went back to work on Monday, they had put me to be an extra again. And I was, you know, I was really taking the movie to heart. Patriots Day to me it wasn't a movie to try to worry about where the camera was or try to get camera time. It was a documentary type of movie where, you know,
What a horrific event.
people really lost their lives, and especially.
I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna, you know, I wasn't gonna say this, but you're talking about Patriots Day, and my take on Patriots Day, I would never have gone out for an extra role in that, and the reason I wouldn't is because I feel that those two scumbags that did the deed, one's dead, one's alive, the Sanievs, I think they're getting glorified by a film like that. And I'm not saying that they're not important to tell people what happened, but we all know what happened. And I think that I think the film industry is exploiting, to be honest with you, is exploiting a lot of the victims, all of them, by doing this. This is my opinion.
I understand what you're saying. I mean,
Right.
I have a different take on it.
Okay,
I mean,
that's fine. I agree to disagree.
When I had watched the film, now as we were making a film, I can tell you because I was there, it was really tense on set, and the actual FBI agents who were actually the investigators were there on set with us. The real people were there. All the real victims were there.
They were, yeah. I mean,
they were there.
Apparently, they were okay with it.
Well, not that they were only okay with it, but they wanted to make sure that the story was gonna shed light on the right things.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've seen the movie, but
I haven't.
If you watch the movie really focuses on love. It focuses on
People trying to help other
a
people.
community coming together.
Yeah.
Even when you watch the film, man, those guys are not glorified in any kind of way at all, man. I mean, one of them dies just a horrific, terrible, just awful death. And the other is, I mean, he's thrown to the ground and just embarrassed and humiliated. I don't even think that their names were really said a whole lot. There were no pictures of them after the movie or anything like that. But it was very tense on set, and I took it serious, and I was actually playing an FBI agent. Like I was the guy, man. And so I think, you know, this caught the attention of Peter Berg. I don't know if it caught the attention of him or if he had this in his mind, but he had chose me to say some lines, and me and
So you did have some speaking roles.
I had a speaking role in it. So I had done my lines, and he was very happy with what I did. And when I showed up the next day, he pulls me to the side and he says, you know, I think you're an amazing actor. And I said, wow, thanks, Pete. And he says, you know, I'd like for you to do some other stuff.
This was only like about 3 or 4 years ago, right? Something like that?
Yeah, a couple years ago. 3 years ago now.
3 years ago, okay.
He says, you know, I'd like to have you, you know, do some other stuff if you're up for it. And I was like, of course. So he asked me to meet with the actual FBI agent who was in charge of the evidence in the movie, and I was portraying that person.
Wow.
So I got upgraded from an extra to a principal role in the movie, thanks to Peter Berg. And you know, all of the work that I did in the film, it actually made it into the film.
Okay.
And I attribute that to my seriousness of the material.
Of course.
And taking it, you know, as seriously as possible.
Now my question to you is, has Peter Berg called you back for projects since then, other ones?
So then after Patriots Day, I seen him again, and you know, we had spoken briefly, and then several months later, I get a call to work with him on Mile 22.
Okay, what was that about? I should know.
So Mile 22 is pretty much about an Indonesian police officer who has sensitive information that his country is planning an attack on the United States, and it's up to...
This is Indonesia?
It takes place there.
Okay.
And it's up to the United States intelligence, Overwatch, to extract the information needed from him in order to save everyone.
Wow.
So I got a call to go work with Pete out in Atlanta, which I was just blown away by and just humbly grateful.
It sounds like you found the producer.
I found, yeah, I mean, well, he found me. He found me. I mean,
I know, right? But I mean, now you're one of his premier actors right now.
Yeah.
That's pretty special.
It is, man. I'm just grateful and just humbly blessed.
Well, what's going on now? Are you working on anything currently with him?
So I just finished up this movie called Wonderland.
Wonderland, not Wonder Park.
Wonderland.
Okay.
Wonderland, and I play Terrence Graham in Wonderland. So
What's that? What was this? What's the synopsis of the film?
So pretty much Wonderland is about the corrupt police out of Boston in the Revere area who are working with the drug cartels, and it's up to Spencer, who is Mark Wahlberg's character, to.
Okay. So you're working with Wahlberg too again?
Yeah, this is
Wow.
my third movie with him.
Oh, now you converse with him and everything?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. He's a great guy.
Love to get him on the show.
You know, if I could, I definitely would, man. But you know,
talk to him. Well, it's up to you. You know, you can do it if you want to and if you have time. Yeah. And he certainly could. But go on.
He's
go on.
incredible.
Yep.
You know, he's been nothing but kind to me and just, you know, very helpful and, you know, just humble. And I mean, I just thank him for, you know, him, you know, having me on and
Of course.
making me a part of the team. So other than the acting, I've been working with Anawan Street Productions
Okay.
In Brockton. And Anawan Street Productions is a film production company that, you know, really specializes in
Right in Brockton,
telling
where we live.
right in Brockton.
Wow.
And they specialize in, you know, bringing other people's ideas to life in their own.
Where are they located in Brockton? I mean, downtown or?
Yeah, like right in the in downtown area.
Wow.
Right now they're in
Wow, who would've
transition
thought
of getting a bigger space, but
Cool.
they're still active. You know, they work with commercial clients, corporate clients, for commercials rather.
Wow.
They've, you know, done music videos, and just last year we.
Were you in any?
Yeah. So, well, not the music videos, but we produced a movie last year called
Okay.
HR.
Called which?
HR.
HR? Like
HR.
Haldeman?
The Human Resources.
Oh, Human Resource. Got
Human
it.
Resources.
Okay.
So I was the producer on
Cool.
Human Resources.
So you work with these people. Are you like one of the staff of this company?
I mean, I would say so. I mean, I'm not, I wouldn't say officially, but I mean, a lot of the work.
Sounds to me like you're behind the scenes as well as in front of the camera, too.
Yes,
Wow,
definitely.
okay.
With them, I mean, I can't imagine myself working with anyone else as closely as I work with them.
So you pretty much know the ins and outs of film production, you know, from working in terms of editing and what
Yes.
goes on behind the scenes, in addition to being in front of it as an actor, correct?
Yes. So
Okay.
in college, I took a.
Which was where? What college?
I went to Massasoit.
Okay, I know
and,
the school.
You know, they have a TV studio
I
there.
know they do.
And I took a class there in that TV studio.
Okay.
And, you know, I learned a lot about editing and things like that. But ultimately, I graduated in business. So I
Okay.
have a degree in business from the New England College of Business. And that has really helped me in being a producer, in which, I mean, I love being a producer because, you know, it allows me to give opportunities to people that I got, you know, and there's nothing, I think, better or more rewarding than helping someone else's career, you know, move forward.
Of course. That's why they had you speak that day at the Chamber of Commerce, right?
Yes, yeah.
Cool.
And that's,
I always say everything happens for a reason.
it does. You know, and I've just been fortunate, you know, and I mean, I still have a long way to go. I mean, I still have a lot of road ahead of me. But, you know, I've been, you know, doing a lot of personal development. I think personal growth is important because you can find yourself lost
Yeah.
if you feel like things aren't moving as quickly as you want them to. You know, you have to find your focus in other areas. That are going to be beneficial not only to you but for everyone else around you.
Okay.
I think sometimes we as actors, we're like really, you know, immersed in our own growth.
Yeah.
And I think that it helps when we spread it out and we help not only in our growth but in other people's growth as well.
I agree. Well, guess what, Brandon? We got under 4 minutes to go. We made the half hour go by. So what I'm going to ask you to do in the remaining time is give some shouts out to people that are going to see the show, including
Definitely.
Wahlberg. If you think he'll
Definitely.
see it, that would be great. But just people in your lives, family members, friends, whatever. We'll condense them, and then we'll wrap the show up.
Sure. Well, I mean, I would like to give a shout out to my family, my wife, my children.
Cool.
Like to give a shout out to Anawan Street Productions. Like to give a shout out to we talked about you earlier, Jose. I mean, there's so many people I can name.
Well, that's okay. You know.
All of your minds are running through my mind, you know, and just know that, you know, I love you all. I'm with you all. And definitely want to give a huge shout out to Peter Berg as well, who helped me get my career going. Boston Casting, huge shout out. Angela Perry.
And Perry.
Angela Perry, you are the greatest. Please keep doing what you're doing. CP Casting, I mean, all the other different agencies. And last but not least, just a shout out to everyone who is out pushing and doing everything they can to make their dreams come to life and come to fruition. There's no sense in living without a dream, and there's no dream, should say, as Denzel Washington, without a goal. So, peace.
I'll give a quick shout out to JoJo for bringing you in here, my sister-in-law, Joanne Young. And in a couple of minutes we got remaining, and what lies on the horizon for Brandon Scales in the remaining remaining months of 2019? Here we are in the spring. What do you got? What do you got on the horizon?
Yeah, well, right now I've been developing some things with Anawan Street Productions.
Okay.
Shout out to Magisha. Shout out to Kathy Ann. Shout out to George Hooker. We've been developing some new material. I've actually been developing a docu-series as well. We've been, just talking about different projects, and anyone who is interested in doing a project or interested in funding one, please reach out. So that's pretty much what I have going on, and we have Wonderland coming out this year.
Okay.
So
have to go see it.
Let's see how that came out, and at this point, I'm still a free agent. I have no agent right now, so
You're independent.
I'm independent right now.
Represent yourself. Well, I hope you had a good time with me tonight.
Oh, this has been incredible, man. Thank you so much.
Okay, Brandon, and thank you guys for watching Topic Time. More great episodes on the horizon.